Hello. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited that you have tuned in to our Week of Wellness Wind Down Wednesday. I am Jody Wolfall, GEG South Florida's Engage Captain. I am a high school biology teacher at Forest Hill High School, and we are so excited to have you. Stephanie Stephanie Hunt, Dr. Stephanie Hunt, would you like to introduce yourself? You can see I'm flushed. We are
Yes, hi.
on and hot and live,
Okay.
baby.
Dr. Stephanie Hunt, I am the chair captain for GEG SoFla. I'm a dean of students at Carver. So excited you guys are all here. I have my special namaste shirt. So I'm going to hit it off to Danielle Clark. Danielle.
Hi, everybody. Danielle Clark here, Learn Captain for GEG South Florida and 6th grade teacher at Verde K-8 in Boca Raton. And tonight's guest is very near and dear to my heart. I had her daughter as a student, and I kind of just walked up to her one day and I'm like, "You look great. What do you do?" And we just hit it off from there. And she has some of the most amazing practices to share with us tonight. So her name is Sarah Green. She has been doing this for probably as long as I've been alive. And she has a very well-rounded and integral wellness practice for us tonight. We're going to go over some pillars of wellness. We're going to cover some nutrition stuff. And Sarah has been serving the South Florida community, including certified group fitness. She does yoga shred, which sounds very intimidating to me, but kind of want to try it. And I'm going to let her take it away and share a few more things about herself. So Sarah, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Any opportunity or platform that I have to share my passion for wellness is a welcome opportunity. So thank you so much for that. And before we get started, just a little bit of business. I want to just mention any music that you might hear during the stream. I don't own the rights to that music. And as far as the physical movement that you'll participate in this evening, I encourage you to find a space where you have at least an arm's width distance away from any furniture or other people. And then also just really be able to tune into your body, listen to your body. I love to say that our bodies speak to us, and it's our privilege and responsibility to listen. So if something doesn't feel right, listen to that, gently move out of that pose. And remember that if you're trying new things or moving your body in a way that it's not used to, it's very normal to feel some discomfort, but not normal to feel any kind of pain. So if you're feeling any pain, slowly move out of that pose. A little bit of discomfort when we're stretching muscles that maybe are not used to moving in that direction is very normal. All right, that's all the nitty-gritty business. I'll tell you just a little bit about myself. I, as I mentioned, have just an extreme passion for wellness. I studied public health and epidemiology in undergrad, graduate studies in exercise science and health promotion, and have been working on and off in the fitness wellness industry ever since. I currently serve as Florida Atlantic University's College of Medicine wellness consultant. I am currently merging into the same role for our newly launched Integrative Health Institute. We have a Marcus Institute of Integrative Health. And for any of you that are not aware, Integrative Health is a marriage of both Eastern and Western philosophies for medicine. So if you're looking for that approach, we have 2 physicians that can serve you in that capacity. If you're interested in more information, you can ask me about that later. I also serve as the National Wellness Consultant for Sigma Delta Tau sorority, which is my own near and dear sorority from undergrad. So that's a privilege and responsibility. And I teach group fitness. I do one-on-one coaching. I do weight loss coaching. I work a lot with tween and teenage children, especially girls. I do kids wellness workshops and group fitness training. So I really like to say that I have a hand in many different facets. And touching on what I believe are the 4 most integral pillars of wellness. And we are going to go over all of those this evening and then leave some room later on to really dive a little bit deeper and answer some of your questions. So the pillars of wellness that I focus on are mindfulness and meditation, nutrition, movement or physical fitness, and self-care.
Yes.
So being that this is Wind Down Wednesday, we are going to begin this evening with a little bit of very gentle yoga-inspired movement. And then we'll do a little bit of information dissemination and discussion. And then I will lead you with a guided meditation and mindfulness exercise that my hope takes you to a place of bliss and that you can carry with you for the rest of the evening and maybe even into tomorrow. So before we go into any information, let's get started by moving the body. So I'm going to ask everybody to get up and we're going to move to the back of our mat. And I want you to just stand, as I said, about arms width distance apart, and then bring the feet about hip width distance apart. And I want you to just start by taking a few deep breaths, drawing the breath in. You can close your eyes or keep them open. And we're going to start with a really gentle movement here, just drawing the arms up, feeling the rib cage expand, belly contract. And then we're going to turn this into a much more active breath and movement. Let's do one more, really gentle here, just drawing the breath in, allowing yourself to come to a place of focus. Good. And then we're going to do a couple shoulder rolls here. So draw the shoulders back, chest up. And I always like to remind you, belly engaged. So we draw navel into spine without holding the breath. So take your fingertips and just touch those abdominals as you draw belly button to spine. Feel that abdominal engagement. That's a really healthy way to walk around throughout your day as you're teaching on your feet, whether you're sitting or standing, thinking about abdominal engagement, walking through the grocery store, abdominal engagement. It really just lends itself to healthy posture and will automatically strengthen those core muscles, which include all of the abdominal area and also the back as well. People tend to think that core is just abs. It's not. It's abdominals, it's obliques, it's all of our back muscles. So now that you're standing with a healthy posture, shoulders rolled back, chest up, let's take this breath and movement into a more intentional, active movement. So we're going to draw the arms up again, and then this time interlace the fingers, bring your vision up to the sky or ceiling, and press up. Feel the armpits coming up out of you, looking up really high. If that feels good for the cervical spine, maybe you even look back. And if that doesn't work for you, you can keep a neutral neck, or you can actually even look down to the floor. So listening to the body, again, a key feature of this movement. And then we're going to begin some tick-tock movements here. So it's an active stretch. You're going to eventually think about the body looking like the shape of a crescent as you lean over to either the left or right, stretching those intercostal muscles, those muscles between the ribs, and stretching out the spine. And then coming back to center, pressing up again, all the way up. And then release those arms down and shoulder loop 3 times back. 1, 2, and 3. And then changing the movement forward. So shoulder loop forward, you can find a gentle arch in the spine here. Good. And then drawing the breath up again, all the way up, interlace the fingers, up again, one more time. And then I want you to release the hands, bring them down to your side, and let's bring the neck into it. So a little gentle movement here from the neck. You can begin with just a little bit of movement, and when you feel ready, maybe turning that into a full circle neck roll. So continue to move, listening to the breath, okay? So I'm here to guide you and offer some physical examples of the work, but I also want you to be willing to go within, listening to what the body is saying to you. So if you're hearing a little bit of a snap, crackle, pop, if you feel tight, if you notice in those neck rolls that the shoulders come up towards the ears, drop them away from the ears very consciously. And if you need to, take the fingertips and actually pull down on the shoulders if you notice them inching up towards the ears. And then hands down by the side, chin neutral. And we're just going to gently look on over our right shoulder. And depending on how much you loosened up with those neck rolls, you might be able to look even past the shoulder. Focusing on the breath, chest up, shoulders relaxed, back to neutral, and then on over to the other side, looking over the left. And back to center. Very good. All right. Arms come up, big breath in, find your airplane wings on the exhale, and then we're going to slowly fold into our first inversion this evening. Grabbing opposite elbows, let your head hang heavy here. And for the purpose of projecting my voice, I'm going to not lead by example on this one, just listen to the verbal cues. So you're in a forward fold, feet are hip width distance apart. Your hands are holding on to opposite elbows. Head is very heavy here. So maybe you're looking through the legs behind you. Maybe you're looking down at the ground, but let gravity be your friend here. Let gravity and the weight of the head really pull you down towards the earth. Feel the feet grounded on your mat, and the spine is long. It's rounded, it's stretching, and everything's just releasing. And then go ahead and release the grasp of the elbows and let your hands fall here, keeping the head heavy. Take note of where those fingertips fall. So tonight they might be on your knees or shins. Maybe they're on the top of your feet. Maybe you're even able to make placement all the way down on the mat, and then feel that deep stretch through the back of the leg. So you're going to feel that through the glutes, down the hamstrings, down the calves, and breathe into it. Let the breath guide you as you inhale. Feel the oxygen coming in, traveling through the body, releasing and relaxing all these muscles that have worked so hard today. And then I want you to just very gently begin to move your energy left and right as hips jut out to the left and to the right. And this movement is great for an IT band stretch. If we have any runners or power walkers in here, any spin enthusiasts, IT bands tend to get really tight. So this is a great stretch. Again, very normal to feel some discomfort, but no pain. If there's any pain, ease out of it. You can also keep a micro bend in the knees here. That might feel a little bit better. And then I want you to just go ahead and tuck chin to chest, and we're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time until we come all the way up to a standing position. And then shoulder loop it at the top, and chin is neutral. Very good. We're going to repeat that movement again. So I want you to draw the breath all the way in. Big breath in, interlace the fingers, press up. Good. Maybe you find an arch in the spine. So I'm going to turn so you can see the arch that occurs in the spine here, if that works for you. And then maybe head falls back. All right, for some of you that are more advanced, if you're looking for a back bend here, you can bring the backs of the hands, steady yourself, and begin to look back. Awesome job, guys. And then go ahead and come back forward and roll yourself right into that forward fold. We were here just a moment ago. Grab opposite elbows, pulling yourself down, looking between the legs, and then allowing the head to be heavy. Release the hands. Notice that maybe you have a little bit more space this round, and then go ahead and shift those hips left and right again. Beautiful. And then slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, chin tucked, chin lifts last, shoulder loop it at the top. Awesome job. All right, guys, we're going to come down to the mat. And this time, I want you to bring yourselves all the way down to the mat. Your toes are going to come together, and your knees are going to splay open. And then I want you to use your hands to gently bring yourselves all the way down to the ground, and your forehead is on the mat. Arms are going to stretch out in front of you. And since we've already warmed up, we're going to go right into an active stretch here, stretching out the shoulders. I want you to tent your fingers. Forehead is still on the mat. And really pull yourself. So use those fingers to pull yourself, stretching, listening to the body, and simultaneously pressing those hips back towards the heels. That should feel really good. Awesome. And then go ahead and lift on up and meet me in a tabletop position, all four on the floor. So we're going to set ourselves up here. I'd like you to open up your fingers really wide, creating a lot of space between each finger. And then I want you to think about shoulders over wrists. Knees are hip width distance apart. And the top of my feet are pressing into the mat. And we're going to do some cat-cows here. So I want you to go ahead and begin by looking up, tilting the spine, look up, tuck the toes, look all the way up. Notice the belly fall towards the mat. And then using breath as guidance, go ahead and draw chin to chest, arch the spine, puff up the spine here. And then continue that movement with breath leading. So breathe in. And then as you exhale, draw in, arch the spine, chin to chest. And continue to move at your own pace. You have a couple more breath cycles here. Really think about lengthening the inhalation, lengthening the exhalation. Very intentional breath cycles. Very focused movement to link breath and the physical movement. And when you feel like you've had enough, we'll meet in a neutral tabletop position. And then we're going to go ahead and lean back. So you're sitting back on your heels. For any of you, if that doesn't work for you, feel free to find an easy seated position. We're just going to do a twist to each side here before we bring our bottoms down to the mat. So drawing the breath up, we were here before, interlace the fingers, press up, find extension, lengthen the spine from the tailbone all the way up to the tips of the fingers, maybe looking up if that feels good for you. And then as you release the fingers, twist. So the right fingers come on the outside of the left thigh, and the left hand can either come down, touching the feet, maybe the mat, depending on your length of limbs, or maybe you find a bind by drawing that left hand all the way around the right hip and reaching for the right thigh. You're going to go ahead and look over the left shoulder as deep as feels good for you. And if that doesn't work, you can always keep a neutral spine by looking down at the ground or just keeping your vision looking forward at the screen. Enjoy the twist. And let's take one more big inhalation here as we draw in. And then as we exhale, can we just twist a little bit deeper? Beautiful. Back to center, arms up, reset the spine, and then we twist to the other side. Left fingertips outside right thigh. Maybe left hand binds. Maybe you look over the right shoulder. Totally normal here to have a little bit more movement or flexibility on one side than the other. We notice that when we're working on balance challenges, our dominant side tends to have a little bit more stability. So we are not totally symmetrical beings, and one side of the body, usually the non-dominant side, tends to be either a little tighter because it's not used or a little looser. So just be aware, again, listening to the body, and then come back to neutral position. And we're going to find our first downward dog of the evening. So if you're not familiar with the downward dog, then I will cue you through it. And if you are, go ahead and find your downward dog now. So for those of you that are new to yoga inspired movements, we're going to open those fingertips really wide, shoulders over wrists. We're going to step our feet back, left foot back, right foot back. And then we're going to press up into an inverted V shape. So one day stay where you are, don't follow my movement, just follow my voice. One day those heels are actually going to touch the ground. Feel that very intense stretch down the spine and down the backs of both legs. And then go ahead and walk your dog by finding a bend in the left knee, straightening the right leg even further, pressing that heel into the ground. And then change that by bending the right knee and straightening the left leg. And you'll walk the dog at your own pace, bending and straightening the legs. Do that a few times. And then go ahead and start to bring that left-right hip movement in that we did in our forward fold. Again, you're definitely going to hear those IT bands speaking to you. Some of us runners and spinners hear it a little louder than others. But utilize the stretch, give your body what it needs, what it craves. And again, always linking breath to movement. And in yoga, breath is actually more important than the physical poses. Everything starts with the breath. So enjoy that beautiful stretch in that downward dog. One more breath cycle here. And then draw the knees down and find an easy seated position. Maybe a lotus, a full lotus. Maybe you find a diamond or butterfly shape where the soles of the feet are together, and you can bring your hands on your knees, drawing the shoulders back. Draw your chin to chest. Maybe you close your eyes, and we're just going to take 3 breath cycles right here, winding down this part of our physical movement. So drawing the breath in and releasing. And if for any reason it's uncomfortable to close the eyes now or later in our guided meditation, you can always bring vision down to the ground, keeping the eyes open, but down to the ground to eliminate any of that external distraction. And one more breath here, in and out. And then if you had your eyes closed, slowly open your eyes, shift a little left and right. And I want us all just to take a moment of reflection before I talk any further. And I want you to think about how your body feels now compared to how it felt when we got started. So if your body's speaking to you, what is it saying? Does it need more of this? Does it need different movement? Does it need deeper stretching? Does it need more? Just listen to what the body's saying. Take it in and give yourself the gift of listening to the whispers of the body. Wonderful. All right, so go ahead and find some water. If you'd like a little sip of water, now's a good time to do that. And as everyone's getting comfortable, I'm just going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the pillars of wellness that I mentioned earlier on. So wellness is a comprehensive feeling state of being of both mind, body, and spirit. And so if we are out of balance physically, or we are out of balance emotionally, all of those things contribute to our well-being or lack thereof, our comprehensive overall wellness. And so if we talk about the different pillars of wellness, we're going to talk about how these play a part in winding down at the end of your workday. And I also really like to think about these pillars of wellness like the tools that exist in our toolbox. So I am a big believer in being a lifelong learner. I love being a student. I strive to learn something new every single day of my life. I think it's a gift to be able to learn and grow and evolve. And so I'm constantly adding new tools to my toolbox. And one of the things that I'm going to ask of you this evening is that you just stay open, both open in this conversation and dialogue, and then open when we leave here, so that as you go about tomorrow, next week, next month, as we all navigate this very unusual time, you're just open to maybe utilizing, experimenting with different tools in your toolbox of wellness that maybe you haven't tried before. Because these unprecedented times, they call for unique, for new, for exploration. And so we're going to do that. We owe it to ourselves to stay well, for our families, for our loved ones, for our students, for our coworkers. So what does that mean? What does wellness mean? Well, one of the things that we talk about is setting boundaries between work and home. And for many of the educators on here this evening, going to work is going to look very different than what it's ever looked like before. I know in my own home, I have 2 school-age children. My husband, who is a financial mortgage banker, he had to move his office home on March the 13th. He has not gone back to work. I am working a lot more from home than I ever have. The kids obviously are learning from home. And the separation between work and home, or work and pleasure, is very blurred right now. It's not so black and white. It's not like we get up and we get dressed and we drive to work and then we can leave that at work and then we get back in the car and we drive home and then we put on a different hat and begin the other roles in our life. It's just blurred. When you're working from home, it's very difficult to find balance. And so I think one of the really important things is that whatever your work day is going to look like this year, that you're very intentional about setting boundaries between work and home. So that's one thing that I think is really important if you haven't already touched on that. And then mindfulness and meditation. So you can always find a few minutes to quiet your mind. One of my favorite ideas that I share with clients is if they're not ready to start a mindfulness practice, if meditation sounds really intimidating, I just invite you to find a song, a calm, peaceful, happy song that you enjoy, and give yourself time to do nothing else but just listen to that song once a day. Maybe the song changes if it gets boring, but if you're not ready to sit in stillness, give yourself the time to just listen to a song that makes you happy, makes you feel peaceful, makes you feel energized or relaxed, whatever it is that you need. There's also some really great mindfulness challenges out there. I'm leading a mindfulness challenge right now. You can follow me on my Instagram at Be Well and Live Good. I'm on a number of Facebook pages. And so our mindfulness challenge, it started with a short amount of time. And then each day I add 15-second increments. So today is August 19th, and I believe we were at 5 minutes and 30 seconds for today. And so adding just a little bit of time on each day can really make adopting a meditation or mindfulness practice a lot more attainable, a lot less intimidating, I should say. So mindfulness is really just being present, giving yourself the ability to find pause in your day, to quiet the mind. And, I know so many of our teachers, they wear other hats, they're mothers and fathers and grandmothers and aunts and wives and husbands. And so how do you find that stillness when you're balancing and juggling so many roles? But I want to remind you that it's available to you at any moment, but it is your responsibility to find that peace, to make the time for that. So make sure you're doing that. It will make you a better educator. It will make you better at every role in your life. And then let's talk about nutrition for a moment. So nutrition fuels your body and your mind. Your emotions are related to what you eat. Your obviously the presence of disease or lack thereof, all related very much to nutrition, what you're putting in your body. So I talk to my clients a lot about the idea that food is fuel. And so just like our cars, the gas and the oil that we put in them, they determine how they perform, right? And so our bodies, our performance is determined by what we're putting in our body. So how are you eating? Are you eating clean? Are you eating enough? Are you eating at the right times of the day based on your daily schedule? Are you making the time to eat healthfully? So whether that means food shopping, meal prep, what does healthy eating look like for you? So a few of the really basic key guidelines for nutrition is limiting sugars and processed foods, eating raw, limiting alcohol, caffeine, and sugary drinks, and drinking lots and lots of water. So important to stay hydrated, especially in South Florida right now. It just couldn't be any hotter. And so the idea of staying hydrated, and a tip for everybody, if you are thirsty, you're already entering into dehydration. So the idea is to stay hydrated. Here's my agua, hydration. The idea is to stay hydrated so you don't get to a place of thirst, okay? And you can make it really fun. Buy an infuser, put some fruit in there, make fruit-infused waters. My daughters, we don't drink any fruit juice in the house, but I do allow them to have an array of flavored seltzer. There's 0 grams of sugar, 0 grams of sodium, and they love it. It just makes drinking water and staying hydrated a little bit more interesting and fun. Let's talk a little bit about movement and fitness. So what are you doing to keep your physical body healthy and stress-free? Are you making time to exercise? Do you have an exercise regimen? And if you don't, why not? There are a million studies out there that tell us that 30 minutes of movement 3 to 5 times a week, elevating the heart rate, is just beyond beneficial for overall wellness, for limiting disease. And in this time right now where everyone is just trying so hard to stay healthy and they want to have the strongest immune systems, if you don't currently have an exercise regimen, I really encourage you to try one. There's a ton of free content out there. If you're interested, if you need accountability, there's always coaching, whether it's myself or someone else. There are virtual group fitness classes if you're not ready to go back to the gym. Maybe you're somebody that really thrives on one-to-one. So think about what you need to make that happen and then just make it happen, okay? And exercise looks different for everybody. So whether you are power walking, whether you are running, whether you are strength training or body weight resistance training, maybe your fitness is more of a recreational fitness. Maybe you like to go on bike rides with your family. Maybe you like to go hiking or swimming. The idea is to move our bodies. I love the saying that says, exercise is not a chore, it's a gift, it's a privilege that we give our bodies. So don't think about exercising as a chore, don't hate it, don't dread it. There will be a day that we cannot move so freely, that the body and the biomechanics of our body will begin to slow down. So I always remind myself, I live in a 2-story home and my daughter's bedrooms are upstairs. I always remind myself when I'm walking up the stairs and I don't have to hold on to the railing, that simple daily activity should not be taken for granted, because there are so many people that cannot even walk the stairs. They can't walk it because of balance. They can't walk it because of strength. They can't walk it because of a weak pulmonary system. So if you can walk a flight of stairs without holding on, that is a gift. So begin to let those light bulbs go off. And when you're doing something that seems so easy, but you're able to do it without any discomfort or distress, just acknowledge it. Because the movement that we have, that we're able to do in our life, is really a gift. And let's talk.
Looks like we're a little frozen. We're trying to get her back here. All right, Jody, do you think we should we take her off and then let her come back in and see if that resets for us? There we go.
Yeah. Oh, I think she just actually dropped off. I hope that she realized, so that we can hop right back on, because we were like right in it.
I know.
That was awesome.
So she is going to do the Q&A with us, guys. So make sure you have a little bit of questions if you have any anything that you really want to know, especially about meal prep or any nutrition best tips. So I'm going to talk to her about posture. That's a really bad problem that I have. So I'm looking forward to that. So when she hops back in here with us, Steph, you want to come back out too?
There she is.
Yeah, so what kind of exercises do you guys do? Let's start seeing what we've got in the chat, and then that way we can, when she comes back in, we've kind of got an idea of where we would like her to go.
Yeah. I saw somebody say something about how meal prep is kind of difficult, and I totally agree with that, especially because it can be really time consuming. But I think so, at least for me anyway, I am a huge planner. So I plan my meal prep and I plan when I'm going to work out, and I do all that so that way there's no time to rush out. And that used to be a huge thing for me, where I was like I wanted to eat healthy. I think we all want to eat healthy, but we end up waiting until we're so hungry, right? And grabbing whatever convenient, and then we make those bad decisions. So that's why meal prep is so awesome, and like making sure we give that time to it. Oh, she's back.
She is
Let's
back.
put her in there. Hey.
I'm sorry, technology.
No, that's okay. We got worried about you for a second.
I'm sorry. I think my phone got too hot. That just lends itself to why we need to hydrate.
Yes.
That's never happened to me. Okay. Do you want me to just continue where I
Yes.
was? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully this won't happen again.
Sure.
So I was about to start talking about self-care, and I'm going to keep that part brief because I do want to be able to do this guided meditation and lend itself to winding down on this Wednesday evening. So what is self-care? What does that mean to you? So self-care is really anything that we do to take care of mind, body, and spirit. So examples of self-care might be saying no to an obligation, taking time to read a book, taking time to exercise and meditate, some of those wellness things that we already talked about. And then how can you wind down after work? Spending time with loved ones, maybe cooking a new recipe, taking time for things that you enjoy. So if that's a show and it's totally unproductive, but you enjoy it, you should do that because you have to fill up your cup in order to serve others. So journaling, going for a bike ride, going for a walk with a friend. I know a lot of my clients lately have been doing really fun social Zoom calls and virtual get-togethers, virtual happy hours. So we do have to think outside the box during these unprecedented times, but social connections are a really important part of self-care. And then on the opposite side of that is taking time to be alone is really important as well. So if you're with people all day and you're teaching and you just need some downtime, maybe before you go into your family mode or whatever comes after your work day, giving yourself a little solo time to regenerate and rejuvenate. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our guided meditation. And I will leave time for some question and answers. I just don't want to run out of time here. I'm trying to watch the clock and I don't want to not allow you all the opportunity for this mindfulness practice. So you're going to find that mat that we were on earlier, and you're going to go ahead and lay all the way down on your back. And you're going to close your eyes. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to make that happen. Laying down on the mat, eyes closed. Let the legs just melt into the mat. Your feet can fall open. Backs of the palms are on the mat. So your hands, your palms are facing up, leaving you open to receiving new energy from the universe. And allow those eyelids to be heavy, resting the upper eyelid on the lower eyelid. And then release the jaw muscles. So allow the jaw to relax. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Ear muscles, neck muscles, let it all just relax. Allow those shoulders to drop away from the ears. And begin to feel the body melting into the mat. Noticing the very natural, gentle rise and fall of the chest. Notice the belly expand and contract with the breath. And letting go of whatever existed in your day today. Allowing the mind to find a place of pause. Releasing the focus of a to-do list. And allowing yourself to just be in this moment. Feeling yourself supported by the earth beneath you. Feeling supported by the collective energy that we have created here this evening with Wind Down Wednesday. So we may not be sharing physical space, but we are certainly connected in energy and intention. And I'm going to ask you to join me for a 1-minute silent meditation. I'm going to stop talking, allowing you to just listen to the relaxing music I have here for you, melting into the mat. Keeping the eyes closed, take the right hand over your heart and your left hand over your belly. You're still lying down on the mat. Feel the rise and fall of the belly with each breath cycle. Feel your heart beating, the gift of life. And I want you to just think of one thing that you're grateful for. And press your right hand a little deeper into your heart, sealing this moment of gratitude. Remembering that the peace and bliss that you feel in this moment is available to you at any time. We have a choice to step away from the chaos, from the external noise. We deserve to find peace. And this is available to you at any moment. Peace, quiet. And then slowly begin to wiggle your toes. You can bring your hands up and start to move your fingers. And then slowly begin to open the eyes very gently. And when you're ready at your own pace, you're going to roll yourself up into an easy seated position. Backs of the hands on the knees, chin to chest. You can close your eyes again, just look down at the ground. And we'll finish with 3 breath cycles, honoring mind, body, and spirit. So as you draw the arms up and breath in, arms come above head, honoring wellness of mind, hands together, drawing down, thumbs into heart center. Second breath cycle dedicated to wellness of body. Draw arms up, big inhalation, fingertips touch, palms kiss together, hands draw down to heart center, honoring wellness of our physical body. And last breath for spirit, soul, higher power, whatever resonates with you. Draw the breath in, arms up, hands together, draw down to heart center, pressing thumbs into breastbone, feeling wellness for soul, spirit, internal peace. The light within me honors and acknowledges the light within you. May you all continue to live healthy, happy lives, taking time to wind down, not just on a Wednesday. You deserve the peace, the relaxation, the calm every day. And from my heart to yours, I thank you for sharing your evening with me. I thank you all for the contributions you make to our children. And I wish you infinite fulfillment and peace. Namaste. And I would be happy to take any questions at this time.
Oh my gosh, you're so great. And that tank is really cute.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, the light within you recognizes the light within you. I can't even like express how incredible
It made my heart flutter a little.
Oh,
that was so good. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Well, I know we have quite a few questions, and then when you popped out, we got to kind of preface, you know, some things that were coming. And one of the things that I really wanted to ask you, Sarah, is posture practices. I have like, ever since I had my daughter, I just have the worst posture. My upper back hurts all the time. I'm slouchy, and now we're going to be in desks, and what can I do?
Sure. So let's actually go through that with some verbal cues. We did that a little bit in the beginning, but since we're all seated now, let's do that together. And I think the first thing is awareness, right? So if you're aware that you're slouching or not having healthy posture, you can fix it, right? Just like everything else. If we don't know it's a problem, we can't fix it. So let's go ahead with, I doubt that you're going to sit with your legs crossed. So find the position that most resembles what it would look like during teaching, probably feet on the ground. So I'll go ahead and do that with you. And I want you to start by pushing yourself back in the seat. And unfortunately, you might be sitting in a seat right now that you're not sitting in for teaching, but you'll get the gist of it. And then I want you to go ahead and roll the shoulders back and notice yourself draw your chest up. And it might feel very unnatural at first, and it might actually even feel a little uncomfortable on the spine. You'll feel the belly come forward. And then I want you to think about really engaging the core. So as I mentioned earlier, belly button to spine gives us that core engagement. And the thing about posture is the more you do it, the more natural it will become.
Yeah.
You'll strengthen all of those muscles around the spine, and then it will just become more of a default. So I tell people to leave a note in their car, because the car is the place that you often slouch. And so if you can correct it when you're driving, and then maybe leave a little note at your computer desk. And then this one, everyone's going to think I'm crazy, but look at your posture when you're going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Like all the times where I'm sitting, I'm like playing them in my head. I'm like, you are so bad.
Yeah.
Oh
I know that another question that we had, first of all, that was amazing. I do the roll back, but the engage part, so that way you're not playing like you're like, hello, you know, so that was fantastic. But we had a lot of talk about like meal prep and like healthy snacks also was a big question.
Okay, great. So I think the key to healthy snacks is what you just said. It's preparation, it's planning ahead, right? If you leave for the day and you don't have a healthy snack for you, that's when you hit the drive-through, or you get really hungry and blood sugar dips, and then you make really poor choices. So planning ahead, Sundays are a great day for meal prep. I'll do really simple things. So I struggle with the being environmentally friendly and then also wanting to prep conveniently, because it's just can be a pain in the butt to like wash, 15 Tupperwares every week or glass containers or whatever you're using. So don't be hard on yourself. If baggies are what are going to make it work, then it is what it is. We can't fix the world in one shot. So but there are great reusable sandwich baggies that you can wash out. So do some exploration. You can just go on Amazon and get some cute stuff. So cutting up vegetables, baby carrots, celery, radishes, bell peppers. Fruit is great, but fruit has sugar. So if you're on a weight loss journey, you got to be really careful about that. That sugar and fruit can really add up. Hard-boiled eggs, great go-to. I eat so many eggs, it's ridiculous. They're easy, high in protein. If you don't have a cholesterol issue, no reason to avoid the yolk. That's been data that's gone back and forth for years. Popcorn is one of my most favorite healthy snacks, very high in fiber, and you can make it sweet or savory. We make homemade popcorn. So we get either like an extra virgin olive oil, or we love organic coconut oil. Put it in a saucepan, let it melt. Put organic kernels. So if you're not aware, corn is one of the highest GMOs. So when you're looking at how you're spending your money and where you want to buy organic, corn is one of those things that you just always want to buy organic, even the kernels. So organic corn kernels, put them in there, put the top on it. Don't walk away from the stove. Let it begin to pop. And then when you no longer hear the pop, time to take it off. So much healthier for you than microwave popcorn. It's fun to do. And then you can dress it up, make it sweet with some cinnamon, or savory with maybe some chili pepper flakes or a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, garlic powder. You can really make that fun. The things that people like go to, like the pretzels and the chips. So that's not fuel, right? It might taste good. It might be kind of enjoyable to eat, but if you're talking about fueling the body, and that's what snacks are meant for, snacks are meant to fuel between mealtime, those things don't serve a purpose. Greek yogurts, read the label. A really good rule of thumb, you want double your protein, and this isn't just for yogurt, this is just in general. Look for a double protein content to your sugar content, so a 2-to-1 ratio. So if your Greek yogurt has 6 grams of sugar, it should have at least 12 grams of protein.
I'm gonna go
So
check.
Greek yogurt's a great one too. And I think it's just, again, like meal planning, like planning ahead, plan those snacks ahead of time, and then you don't get stuck in a bind.
That's
Eating
awesome.
French fries.
Yeah.
I would never have thought about that because my daughter, she's allergic to so many things. And so we really try to keep really clean stuff. And I had no idea. And I do my research. I had no idea about the corn kernels. Like
Oh yeah,
blew my mind.
corn is the worst. Corn
I
is the
was
worst.
so naive. Like, how did I not know that?
We get to
So
learn
there,
something new every day.
I know.
yeah, there was a question about you said eating at the right time. Do you have an opinion on like intermittent fasting for like well-being and stuff like
Right.
that? That's like a trend now, I think.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm always hesitant to comment on trendy eating without doing like a one-on-one consultation, because I don't, it's too, it's almost irresponsible to speak so vaguely on it, because everyone's body is so different. Medical conditions vary. Do you take medication? Do you not? What's your exercise regimen? There's a lot of variables. What I would say to you is that intermittent fasting can be very helpful and useful for a lot of different people, depending on the variables I just mentioned. But even more important than intermittent fasting is one of the key philosophies that I preach to my clients is conscious consumption. So we could call it intermittent fasting because we are not going to eat for this many hours, and there's numbers and there's calculations that make all that make sense. But instead of going to such an extreme, what if we just focus on conscious consumption? So am I tasting what I'm eating? Am I eating for the right reasons? Am I stopping eating at an adequate time? Am I starting to eat in the morning at an adequate time? And am I not allowing too much time to go by during my most active periods of the day without fueling my body?
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I find especially like even though I get healthy snacks, the amount of them sometimes is where I lose control. Like, yeah, I can't even think of like peanut butter. Peanut butter is a great one because nuts are healthy. I know peanuts are like one of the worst nuts, but nuts in general are usually healthy. But like I'm somebody who once you pop, the fun don't stop, and I could just spoon that peanut butter, baby.
So if I may, let me comment on that, because that's a very real issue. Like, I talk to so many people and they're like, but it's healthy. And so first of all, fat is fat. Healthy fat is healthy fat, but it's still fat. So you're talking about your avocados, you're talking about coconut oil, you're talking about peanut butter, nut butters. It's still a fat, even though it's a healthy fat, right? So that's the first thing. Second of all, if you're somebody that gets kind of loses sight of quantity, then go ahead and do for a period of time measuring things out. Use your teaspoons and your tablespoons. Start to read labels. Your spoonful of peanut butter might really be 4 tablespoons full or 2 tablespoons full, and a serving is 1 tablespoonful, and you don't even realize it. And you shove the spoon in there 3 times, and then before you know it, you just ate 12 servings of peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
So I think conscious consumption, and then the nuts can be a really healthy snack, but I encourage people to mix it in with different things. So popcorn's a great filler because you can eat more of it. Count out a dozen almonds. I'm not a person that's satisfied with a dozen almonds. Like, that's just not going to do it for me. But Brazil nuts, for example, Brazil nuts are recommended 7 Brazil nuts a day for anyone with thyroid conditions. And obviously, like, check with your medical provider. But so there's, different nuts have different properties. And but I think that it's just, again, goes back to like conscious consumption, learning to read some nutritional labels, and being aware of what you're putting in your body.
I love that. We can have one more question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So there was a few people that seemed like they were really interested in getting started in yoga, but they said like they weren't flexible or they don't know where to start. Classes are really intimidating. Do you have any
Sure.
tips for starting that journey?
Yes, absolutely. So I hear that all the time. And listen, yoga class is not what it looks like on Instagram. There's more people that don't look like those photos than do, but I totally get it. It can be super, super intimidating. So a few things I'll say. First of all, to begin is always the first step. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, if you really learn what yoga is all about, yoga is mostly about the breath. The physical movement is secondary. And anybody that says to me that they're not flexible so they can't do yoga, I'm going to say back to you that if you believe you're not flexible, that's exactly why you should do yoga. I have had people with physical disabilities, with injuries, with chronic injuries, acute injuries, who felt like they were so limited, and by exploring the body and breath through yoga, they made just tremendous growth and progress. A lot of times people like a one-on-one, whether that's a virtual or an in-person, just to kind of get started and like lose the intimidation of having what they feel is an audience around them in a group class setting. So feel free to either reach out to me or other instructors that are available in the community. I know so many of us who were teaching a lot of group fitness and we haven't gone back to the gyms or doing either smaller groups or one-on-one, and even watching a video in the privacy of your own home and just listening to the body and exploring it that way is a great idea. And then one thing I do want to say, and this really applies to anything with wellness, whether it's nutrition or mindfulness, adequate sleep, fitness, any of that, what we shy from is often what we most need in our lives. So if you shy from meditation, I invite you to consider that maybe it's what you most need. If you shy from healthy eating, maybe it's what you most need. So that philosophy has really been a truth in my own life. And so I just always invite friends and clients and loved ones to think that maybe what we shy from is what we need more of.
I love that. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah.
I've just been bragging about you to these people for weeks now, and I'm just like blown away by you. And I'm just you're such a light. You really are. So this was incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God.
Again, like I said in the beginning, anytime I have a chance to share wellness info, I feel like I'm giving the gift of discovering health and wellness to each person. And we deserve it. We all deserve to live healthy, happy lives. And so if there's questions that weren't answered tonight, you have my Instagram. You're welcome to give out my email. I'm happy to answer questions or guide people towards resources, anything I can do to be of further support.
Okay, perfect. That's where I was going to ask. So we can reach you at Be Well and Live Good on Instagram. Yep. And then it's Sarah Green Consulting at Gmail.
Yep, that's the best way to reach me. Yep.
Well, this is going to go out to all 418 of our members, plus our huge Twitter following. And I have to say, this is going to be a gift to them. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And will be replayed, I'm sure, all year long. So thank you again so much. Truly, it was super beneficial. We loved it.
Well, go with your family. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sarah, so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Don't forget to fill out our feedback form. It was dropped in the chat, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday.
Yes, Lisa Poe with Adventures in Anxiety. She's going to be on with us. She's got some really awesome journaling prompts, guys. And tonight we were just left with some really intense things to process and think about how we're going to go do this with our kids, but really just to think about how we're going to do this for ourselves. So we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
Bye, guys.